First, he brought you an RGB fan roundup. Then, he tested 7 different M.2 drives in one video. Now, from the channel behind these epic moments.
Hardline is one of these little silly silica. Oh my god.
No, not those moments. Yeah, these are much better. Comes the content you've all been waiting for. RGB.
Just roll the intro. As I was putting together information for today, I've realized I've been doing a bunch of roundup style videos on the channel recently, and that's not without good reason. This year has been so crazy with product releases, there's been so much that has come out that it's almost impossible for me to dedicate individual videos to everything that comes into the office. So instead, I want to get you guys the information as succinctly as possible, so I've been doing some roundups. It started with X370 and B350 motherboards, then I've more recently done Z370 motherboards, RGB fans, and then M.2 drives, although the latter had some significant test results to go along with it, so it did have a little more heft. Nevertheless, today we're going to be taking a look at 5 different memory options that carry the distinction of having RGB heat spreaders. Now, of course, this isn't the entirety of the RGB memory selection available on Newegg right now. Besides what I'll be showing off today, there's the T-Force Nighthawk, and that's actually it. Wait, is that really it? Yeah, I guess that's it. The fact of the matter is that RGB implementation is more difficult to do on memory modules than on almost any other component. Not only do you have to figure out how to mount the LEDs on top of or on the sides of the DIMMs, but you also have to figure out how to power them and how to control them, with the only point of contact to the board itself being the slot. Guile sells, or used to sell, a kit of memory that had an auxiliary power cable running from each stick that plugged into a 12-volt power source like this. What a wiring nightmare that sounds like. The brands that we're going to be taking a closer look at today have seemingly figured it out though. They all have RGB functionality without any extra cable clutter or awkward operation. And they all would look pretty darn good in any system. So which one actually looks the coolest and provides you with the best functionality? Let's find out. But just a brief aside, all these products are available at multiple speeds, and the kits that I have on hand aren't all the same rating. So actual performance testing, unfortunately, will have to wait for another video. Let's just try to figure out which ones do the RGB thing the best, and also offer the most choices to the buyer. First up is the ADATA Spectrix D40. I've featured this kit on the channel in several videos before, and the RGB implementation is pretty solid. One of the biggest knocks against the Spectrix is that the heat spreaders are unapologetically red. You don't necessarily see the sides of the DIMMs when they're installed in a system if the lighting is right. But if you have a non-tinted side window or you have things set up to be pretty bright inside your case, there's almost no hiding the colored accent. And this almost defeats the purpose of having customizable colors on top. I do like how the color shows through both the top and the sides, although I do wish that the light strip on the top wasn't so narrow. The Spectrix are available in 4 speeds, 2400, 2666, 3000, and 3200, with 16 being the lowest cast latency you could find. You can control the lighting via the beta version of their XPG RGB Sync app, which allows you to set up to 5 different lighting zones on each DIMM. You can also use ASUS AuraSync if you have a compatible motherboard. Next is the Team Group T-Force Delta 2. You can get these with either a matte black finish like we have here, or with a white heat spreader, which is a great option to have. Unfortunately, speed selection is limited to only 2400, 2666, or 3000, with the lowest CL being 15, so if you need something faster, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. The RGB implementation features a fairly wide top diffuser, as well as the logo on the side, and Team Group touts 120 degrees of illumination. The color can be controlled through both ASUS AuraSync and Gigabyte RGB Fusion, or Team offers their own Blitz software. The Blitz software looks almost exactly like ADATA's app, and the functionality is basically the same. There are also 5 lighting zones to control here, and the color flows nice and evenly. Next up is the Guile Super Luce, or Luce, or however you pronounce it, which is the company's second attempt at RGB memory after the poorly received Evo X. They have the same available matte black and matte white choices for the heat spreader that we saw in the Delta 2, and come in 5 different speed varieties with fairly low latencies down to 14. You can grab these in 2133, 2400, 2666, 2800, and 3000, but once again, if you want to go faster, you'll need to look at some other options. I do have a few bones to pick with these though. While they look nice from the top, the lights under the heat spreader aren't particularly bright, and as a result the colors can get a bit muted. Also, from all the information I could find, there doesn't actually appear to be any control software put out by Guile, and the only way to get any kind of custom profile here is through ASUS AuraSync. Also, there's this pretty gaudy sticker on the side that doesn't look like it's intended to be removed. If you have an ASUS board and don't need super fast DIMMs, maybe these should be on your radar, but if your situation isn't exactly that, maybe pass them over for the next in our lineup. These are the Corsair Vengeance RGB modules. Following up on the success of their static colored Vengeance LED memory, which you can get in white, red, or blue, Corsair introduced RGB versions earlier this year with both black and white heat spreaders. You can get these down to CL15 in 8 different speeds from 2666 through 4266, and they have a wide range of compatibility. They also can be used with MSI Mystic Light, Gigabyte RGB Fusion, and ASUS AuraSync, as well as Corsair's own Lynx software. However, each DIMM has only one lighting zone. While you can set different memory sticks to show or pulse different colors, each individual module will only be one solid color at a time. This might be disappointing for some and could actually be a deal breaker if you want the RGB rainbow wave or other effects. However, Corsair being Corsair, I'm sure we'll see something new from them soon. And finally, we come to the most well-known and popular RGB memory in our roundup today, the G.Skill Trident Z RGB. Available in a ridiculous 12 different speeds ranging from 2400 through 4266 and all the way down to 4GB DIMMs, if you need DDR4, you can find something in G.Skill's lineup to fit your build. Additionally, the lighting on the modules is bright and vibrant, and the heat spreaders are great looking on their own, with one black side and one brushed silver side. Although motherboard control is limited to ASUS at this time, G.Skill also has their own control software that mirrors ADATA's and Team Group's. 5 individual lighting zones mean that you can do cool stuff like this if you choose, and the unique heat spreader design is signature Trident Z by this point. This is the standard by which other RGB memory is measured right now. But do you think others in this comparison are worth considering instead? Let me know down below in the comments which one you prefer, or if you use any of these in your system currently. Also, don't forget to check out my merchandise store and get subscribed to the channel if you're not already. As always guys, thanks for watching.